Hello, everyone. My name is Diego Alfonso, and I'm your host with the Florida Aviation Network. We are broadcasting free and in the clear from the Aerospace Discovery at the Florida Air Museum in the Sun and Fun Complex in beautiful Lakeland, Florida, during the 43rd annual Sun and Fun Fly-In and Exposition. Today, our guests are, and let me tell you, you're in for a treat because these two individuals I have right here are the originators and the actual reason why this show is here 43 years later. First, I want to introduce you what we very lovingly call the old man. And his name is Bill Henderson. Bill, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I'm proud to be here and see you and see all of you.
And to his right and to his left is his son Arthur, who also actually this building that we're sitting in right now, what he was the person who made this building happen. And we're going to get a little bit of history about Sun and Fun as we go along. Arthur, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Billy, tell the people how this air show got started.
Well, in 1975, I'd restored and got my first airplane flying, and I was friends with experimental aircraft out of Wisconsin. And I decided we ought to start a convention here in Lakeland for EA members and builders. And in 75, we started our first meeting on the north side of this airport. And the amazing thing was the first two people that landed coming to the first fly-in when we promoted it in Flying Magazine was Cliff Robertson and Dean Amaro, both movie stars. They flew all the way from California in a P-38 Lightning to see us and visit, and they came and spent the weekend with me at the house and helped us launch the first convention. And then we decided that it was so big we needed more room, and the mayor of Lakeland helped the commission give me a site on the south side over here in the woods, and she was also mayor, first female mayor and president of the Garden Club, and she came out and helped clear the land and helped us start it. She was a wonderful lady, and so it's been a great life, and we met a lot of wonderful people.
And that was 1975. 75.
First one on the north side, and then we moved over here the following year, and then moved to January because there's a lot of times people couldn't get here the other times of year. And we eventually moved to April.
April.
Yeah, and then even the Queen of England called me and sent a bunch of cadets over and asked my wife to train them.
That's
on
right.
the
I interview them. Actually, I interview them every year.
Is that right?
And that is a very, I really like that because there's some history behind that. We're not going to get into that now, but I think I'm interviewing them Thursday. So
Yeah.
it's really great.
Who's coming over?
Huh?
Who's coming over Thursday?
Yeah.
The British cadet.
Yeah, the British cadets.
Okay.
Yeah.
I even talked to Queen Elizabeth on the phone a few times, helping arrange to get the kids over. She's a wonderful lady.
Yeah. Well, I remember I came to Orlando in 1983.
Yeah.
Never heard of Sun and Fun before. And around January, I hear this stuff going on. And no, actually before that Sun and Fun this, Sun and Fun that. What's Sun and Fun? That's an air show and the second air show in the United States, whatever. And I came over and I was very impressed because I saw a lot. The biggest air show I've seen other than Oshkosh is this. And I saw that way back. Now, Arthur, I understand, and he said something that piqued my curiosity. He says that you lived at the airport here.
Yes. During the early stages of coming to the south side of Lakeland Airport, they needed people on the grounds to keep an eye on a dumping situation that we had. So I moved onto the premises here, and as they started building buildings, I started watching over the buildings in a capacity. as well as stopping dumpers and helping clear the property. Worked with many volunteers getting this area from Florida swampland into what you see today.
Right.
With the manicuring and getting it all done that way. As the buildings came into different stages of being added to the properties, I became the overseer of the buildings and the hangars and
Right.
getting tenants in here with their aircraft.
Yep. Hello,
I've
Ray.
been very fortunate. I've always been Dad's wingman,
Okay.
and so I grew up. This was totally natural to me.
Exactly.
Our aviation history goes even further back, and so I got the bug
Yeah.
at a very young age.
That's right.
And
Now, the history of the museum, how did that come about?
there was a group of volunteers, I included, that have really a desire to understand history, which has always kind of promoted this. When you look back at aviation history and how fast we've advanced, of all types of aircraft, we decided we needed to showcase some of these aircraft. And as we developed and put this plan together, there came a point that we were actually able to build a facility to honor that.
Right.
And so I came in real early as the volunteer and then was later hired as the director of the museum, and even the second phase, which you see across the walk over there, myself and enormous amounts of volunteers put all that together
Great.
and just made a really nice facility
Oh, this is
to educate young people in aviation and to promote aviation, general aviation,
Yeah.
all types of aviation.
and to capture the past
Exactly.
and not let it go away.
Not let it go away.
And that's what's happening. It's right within these walls, right here, right now.
I'm still a bit of a historian.
Oh, that's right.
Yes,
That's right. Well,
I can look through this facility here and tell you the stories off the top of my head of just about everything that's in here.
yeah.
And it's really neat. And I've got to put a little pun in here.
Go.
My son, my youngest son, has just graduated Air Force BMT
Great.
in
Congratulations.
Texas, and he's following that aviation thing we have.
Well,
So
it's in the blood,
it's in the blood.
and you can't get rid of it.
No.
I'll tell you what. My son also, is a captain with United, and I mean that's just keep the tradition, and that's the way it is. You got the bug, you got the bug.
Well, we go far back as 1929 to Miami Air Races, our family does.
Wow.
And as a young man growing up, I have been very blessed with being able to see my uncle building Pitts S1s in his garage, steam skybolts in his garage.
Yep.
My father building airplanes in the garage. First thing I did when I turned 21, when I bought a house, is put an airplane in the garage to build. So it was just a natural.
Gotta go with the flow.
It was a natural.
You gotta go with the flow.
Very natural.
Billy, you said something that caught my. You said you're from Wisconsin,
No, I was in Wisconsin.
you
I
was
spent a
in
lot of years there.
and what made you do this in Lakeland? You lived here in Lakeland?
Yeah, but founder of experimental aircraft up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and his wife came down and helped me clear the woods
I see.
and start something fun, and they used to support me tremendously. And so I ended up on his board of directors for many years. And Paul Pobresny, you've heard of.
Yep. Of course.
Well, he passed away about 3 or 4
Yes,
years ago.
I know that too.
But Paul was a great friend, and him and his wife used to come down. I've even got pictures of his wife, Audrey, trimming bushes
Yep.
here when we cleared
Yep.
the woods.
Well, I first came here in '83,
Yeah.
and from '83 to now, the transformation is enormous, because everything, the CFAA here, the Central Florida Aerospace Academy, that's a beautiful thing out there. All the developments, that have taken place at the airport and everything. So I guess when you guys see an air show like this, it's got to be a great deal of satisfaction.
It is a great deal of satisfaction. The biggest part I enjoy are the people.
Right.
It is to get out, meet people from other countries, to actually see eager minds, excited groups.
Yes.
That is the experience I love.
And I was impressed when I heard of the amount of people, different countries, people from different countries of the world, more than 80 countries in the world
that's
come
right.
to this
That's correct.
show.
We had people from all over the world.
Yeah, from all over the world, and then when you see the amount of airplanes, you know, that take off and land, when you go out there and you see, I love the campers. I love the guys that camp under the wings.
Yeah.
You
Been
know,
there,
that-
done that. Yes.
because those guys are really dedicated. I mean, I get there, and then I fend off however I can, you know, that type of thing. So, what do you think is going to happen? What is the future for Sun and Fun?
Well, it seems like they're getting some pretty good leadership, gradually upgrading their leadership. John Lights is a new guy, and he's a retired Naval Air Reserve, so he and I communicated well because I spent 7 years in the Naval Air Reserve. And he came by and we spent some time visiting, told him to remember it's about airplanes and people, but people primarily that have an interest in airplanes.
Right.
And so he seems to be doing real good. Seems to be doing well.
Well, even promoting, you know, promoting the young people. We got to get the young people into.
This is what I feel. I feel the educational value of this thing is unbelievable.
Met a lot of great
There was a
people.
master plan that seems to have fallen into place and has been carried on with the schools, the workshops,
Yeah.
all those things that we envisioned. They're here,
Exactly. Exactly.
and a lot of those things were in the preparing stages to do these things 25, 30 years ago, and they are developing, they are working. There's nothing more beautiful to me to stand up and speak to a group of young people about aviation, general aviation,
Right.
military, commercial, and see their eyes light up. It's
Right.
beautiful. I mean,
You know, one thing is that you probably have a whole bunch of war stories stacked up in your under this cap here. And now, I don't want to put you on the spot because the feds are listening, okay?
Yeah.
But do you have any war stories in aviation that you can share with our audience that you remember?
Oh, I had so many.
And I'm
great
going to ask
memories
you
that
the
went
same
on
thing
and on.
afterwards.
I met Jimmy Doolittle before he bombed Tokyo. He even came here and visited with me. And we met over in the Boys Club dining area, a whole bunch of the officers and the
Oh, Mr.
political
Doolittle.
people, and planned the whole bombing of Tokyo. And then General Doolittle called me and said I made it when he got back to America.
You know, it's an interesting thing. I was flying as a pilot. I used to fly for Showalter. You probably
Yeah,
know
I
Showalter.
remember.
Showalter is also like the Henderson. It's an institution, you know. And I was a charter pilot, and I went to Williston.
Oh,
And there was a gentleman there. The only thing was there was like a little shack. I mean, this is back in 1983, 84. And then he told me that Jimmy Doolittle, they practice at that airport. Actually, he took me out to the runway, and they have a 480 feet mark where the airplanes, the goal was for the wheel to come off before that white mark. So you met the man.
yeah, he practiced off of runway 9 here in Lakeland. We extended the runway. I was on the Airport Advisors Committee, and we extended the runway 1,000 feet. And I remember seeing him out there with his bomber practicing takeoffs and landings.
Can you imagine taking off in a carrier with a bomber? I mean, that's got to be crazy. And then the destination is unknown because they were not coming back.
they did
No.
not know where they were going at the time, other than they were taking off of a carrier.
He let me
That's
know
it.
when he
They
made
knew
it
they were
home.
taking off, but they didn't know how they were going to land.
They went to China and
Yep.
South China somewhere, and he
Yep.
called me when he got down.
And a lot of
Nothing
people don't know
going
the
on, yeah.
details of that thing, but that is that was the valor and the courage displayed by these pilots was like unbelievable. Because I mean, we're gonna go from point A to point B, and we worry about when we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Them, It
It's
was just
amazing
like,
the people you meet in this
Yeah.
business. I met 3 presidents, talked to the Queen of England on the phone a few times. Never could get her to come over. She keep begging me to come to London. She'd send me plane tickets. I'd come over and see her.
well, maybe we'll put a little bit of pressure on her. you know, her cook is Cuban. This is a
Yeah.
true story.
Yeah.
Yeah, her cook is Cuban. So we may put some pressure on her and for her to have it to come here.
There you go.
And Arthur, how about you? Do you have any?
Well, yeah, I've got one that kind of tickles me. I was Chuck Yeager and Gene Crossfield both came to the fly-in here one year, and I really wanted them to come up to the museum and sign autographs, you know, to
Right.
get people excited because of their history.
Yeah.
And thank goodness my beautiful wife was here because she went up and poured the charm on the two gentlemen, got them both to come up here and spend time and to sign the autographs, and we were very thrilled to have them here
Oh yes,
and to have them do that for our visitors.
that's right.
And we just had a wonderful time, and I ended up receiving a SR-71 Blackbird
Yes.
photo framed with all the signatures, and I just thought I still hold that very well cherished to this day. You
Oh
know?
my God! Well, yeah, that's got to be. And also, Bob Hoover was
Oh.
a regular here.
Yeah.
Bob Hoover came to me and was wanting a place to put his airplane until it was taken into the Smithsonian, and we accepted the aircraft and had it on display here for quite some time
Yes.
before it went to the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Patty Wagstaff and
Yeah.
her.
Actually, I'm interviewing her Thursday, I think. Either tomorrow or Thursday.
I was fortunate enough to be in Washington at the time they did the dedication of her
Patty's coming to
aircraft
see
at the
us?
Smithsonian, and I got to
Yeah,
go to
she's
that.
an unbelievable lady.
Very unbelievable.
Is he coming to see you?
Yeah, what we'll be doing, I think, is either tomorrow or Thursday.
I met her up in St. Augustine when she was talking and kept her.
I
kept
can
her to
imagine.
keep on flying. Huh?
I can imagine.
Yeah.
You probably seen all these pilots grow from
Yeah, and she
a pup.
called me from Austria or somewhere, and she just set a world record over in Europe in the U.S. aerobatic team or something over in Europe. And she called me to tell me she had just made first place. When she
And have you
set
done
a
any
world
aerobatic
record.
in the past?
Do what?
Have you done any aerobatics?
Yeah, but
In
I
the past?
usually did them alone.
I did some too.
I'm
But I
sorry,
couldn't
but
keep
I
my
happened
lunch.
to be in there with you some of those, Dad.
Bill Truby used to ride with me and check me out.
I was never. I
Truby
mean, I
was
like
the
to fly
director.
straight on level and level turns and things like that. I'm more of a calm kind of guy. Well, Billy, it's a pleasure.
I
It
did
really
it.
is a
Oh.
pleasure to have you here, and
Well, it's a pleasure to be here and see
and
what
I'm
all
so
you
glad
guys
that
are
you
doing.
started this thing because now we can all enjoy this. And Arthur, the same goes
Thank
to
you.
you. I didn't know your involvement especially in the Florida Air Museum. I learned it today. Obi was telling me about, and then you confirmed that. And the fact that you were overseeing everything here and making sure that everything run good.
For many years.
But apparently everything did.
Yes.
So
I started out, I had to dedicate my time to the fly-in, and then as it grew, I was able to focus a little more.
okay, well, every good thing has to end, and we got to that point now where we're gonna have to say goodbye. I hope you guys stay healthy. Same to you. We wish you lots of luck, and we're gonna see you
We're
again
gonna
next year.
try.
For sure.
Absolutely.
And for you out there in cyberspace,
Don't shoot, I give up.
this is Diego Alfonso signing off with the Florida Aviation Network.
Yeah? Okay.